Hello everybody, welcome to our flipped classroom video for social studies. I think it's our fourth already. Chapter 2, Section 2, and it's about early human migration. First of all, let me ask you this. Did you ever had to move? Maybe you moved from city to city here within Nicaragua, maybe even had to move for a longer time or for a longer distance between countries. I had to do that too. In 2013, I moved from the Netherlands to Nicaragua. So I had to leave our lovely cheeses that we have in the Netherlands. I can't walk on wooden shoes anymore. And even when I'm going outside, I can't enjoy our beautiful landscapes with tulips and windmills. No, now I am in Nicaragua, and Nicaragua is a lot different. You guys have dances here with big puppets of women and small men. Even the food here is very different. Fried bananas, gallo pinto, and all the other names I don't even remember. And then your streets, your beautiful streets, full with garbage, which can be easy because you don't have to save it anymore. You can just throw it on the streets. But it's been very different for me. So, time to adapt. That's what we're going to talk about in this chapter as well. Have a look over here. We have the vocabulary. Not so much this time. Migrate, Ice Ages, Land Bridge, and Mesolithic Era. Maybe you remember the word era in Mesolithic Era from the last time. Also, in here, it's about a period of time. The main ideas are about mainly two things. It's about the migration of people and how people adapted after those migrations. And together it gets the main idea, the big main idea, as people migrate around the world, they learn to adapt to new environments. Oh, here is a map, and maybe the first thing you see is that this map is very different from all the maps that we normally have. Over here you can see the Americas, North America, Central America, South America, on the right side of the map. While in normal maps that we use in our atlas or even in our classroom, the Americas are mostly on the left side. Well, we start out here, just as you know. East Africa. This is where scientists believe that people developed them the first times. This is where we started as species. And the red lines, you can see that they're migrating all around the world. Well, during the Old Stone Age, climate patterns around the world changed, transforming the Earth's geography. In response to those changes, people began to migrate or move to new places. Most scientists believe that about 1.6 million years ago, many places around the world began to experience long periods of freezing weather. These freezing times are called the Ice Ages. The Ice Age ends about 10,000 years ago. That's the last Ice Age we had. During the Ice Age, huge sheets of ice covered much of the Earth's land. These ice sheets were formed from ocean water. And if that water from the ocean is freezing, then you get a lower ocean level, of course, lower than it is right now. So many areas that are now underwater were dry land in that time. For example, a narrow body of water separated Asia and North America right now. But in that time, science thinks that during the Ice Ages, the ocean level dropped and exposed a land bridge. Something that you can see on this small map as well. So the red part is land exposed by lower sea levels, and the blue is more like where the present coastline is. So they caused land bridges, and land bridges are a strip of land connecting two continents. Land bridges allowed Stone Age people to migrate around the world. Scientists agree that migration around the world took hundreds of thousands of years. Early hominids, the ancestors of modern humans, migrated from Africa to Asia as early as 2 million years ago. From there, they spread to Southeast Asia and Europe. Later, humans also began to migrate around the world, and earlier hominids died out. Look at the map at page 37 of your textbook, and over there you can see the dates and the routes of early human migration, just like in this picture over here. Humans began to migrate from East Africa to Southern Africa. and southern Africa around 10,000 or 100,000 years ago. From there, people moved east across southern Asia. They could then migrate even to Australia, and that's odd because even though the sea level dropped, there was always an open ocean in between of them. So scientists are not very sure how they were able to go to Australia. From Southwest Asia, humans also migrated north into Europe. Geographic features such as high mountains and cold temperatures delayed migration northward into northern Asia, but it did happen eventually. But, like I said, people from both Europe and Southern Asia moved into that region. From Northern Asia, people moved into North America. Scientists disagree on when and how the first people arrived in North America. Most scholars think that people must have crossed a land bridge from Asia to North America, like you can see on this map that I just explained. But some others think that maybe they have crossed the sea. Once in North America, these people moved south following herds of animals and settling South America. By 9000 BC, humans lived on all continents of the world except Antarctica. And there he goes, Fred Flintstone, up till Europe, and then he will go really fast into the Americas. Well, and after they have been moved all around, they have to adapt. Just like here, you can see that from a normal climate or a warm climate, it can get very cold all of a sudden. So we're talking about adapting. What is adapting? Adapting is that you try to change your habits or needs in order to survive. So they learn to sew animal skins together to make clothing, for example. But they also needed shelter to survive. Caves, pit houses in the ground, tents or permanent structures of wood, stone, clay, and sometimes they use even bones for these kind of things as well, like you can see on page 39. Some examples I have over here. The cave. In the beginning they didn't make any houses yet, but they were just going into the mountains to protect themselves. And this is one of the examples. They could just go into the caves and try to survive over there. So in addition to clothing, people needed a shelter to survive, like these caves. When they moved to areas with no caves, they built their own shelters. The first human-made shelters were called pit houses, as you can see in this picture. They were pits in the ground with roofs of branches and leaves. Later, people began to build homes above the ground. Some lived in tents made out of animal skins, like you can see over here, and others they built more permanent structures of wood, stone, and clay, or even other materials. Even, like I said, bones from large animals such as mammoths were used in building shelters. People also adapted to new environments with new types of tools. These tools were smaller and more complex than tools from the Old Stone Age. They defined the Mesolithic era, or the Middle Stone Age. So last time we were talking about the Paleolithic era, which was the first Stone Age. This is the Middle Stone Age, Mesolithic era. This period began more than 10,000 years ago and lasted to about 5,000 years ago in some places. During the Middle Ages, people found new uses for bone and stone tools. People who lived near water invented hooks and fishing spears. Other groups invented the bow and arrow. In addition to tools, people developed new technologies to improve their lives. For example, some learned to make canoes from hollowed-out logs and trees, and they used a canoe to travel on rivers and lakes. They also began to make pottery. The first pets may also have appeared in this time. People kept dogs to help them hunt and for protection. Developments like these, in addition to clothing and shelter, allowed people to adapt to new environments. This is everything for this section so far. So to summarize, it's about why people migrated around the world. Was it forced or was it voluntarily? And how did they adapt to the new environment that they were coming in? It took them hundreds of thousands of years to do that, but in the end, it happened. That's what we know right now. So those things are important to know. I hope you make some notes, show them to me tomorrow, and use them to practice for your quiz on Friday. I'll see you in our next video next week.